What up, everyone? I'm Gozen from the YouTube channel Anime Uproar, and I got with me my friend Ray, who is the anime virgin. What up,
What's
Ray?
up? How's it going?
And by that, let me explain. He's the Dragon Ball virgin in the title. And I don't mean like that in a literal sense, I mean that he hasn't watched Dragon Ball. And he's going to talk about his experience. He watched, like, as a kid, he saw Dragon Ball Z on TV, but he's never watched the Dragon Ball original series, and he's never watched Dragon Ball Z from start to finish. So we're gonna be watching with him, who is not even like versed in anime. He's an anime version as well, so it'll be very interesting. A lot of the tropes, like pervy old men and like explosive nosebleeds, are gonna be new to him, so we can react. We can see his original reaction, and yeah, the plan is straight up. If you guys like it, to go from Dragon Ball Episode 1, and we're going to watch the anime rather than read the manga. And we're going to go arc by arc, and then do eventually Dragon Ball Z, eventually Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball GT is on the table, the Dragon Ball Z movies. Like, there's probably more than we could cover in like years. So, yeah, that's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, and even though you said I watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid, I'll be honest with you, like I think I was more of probably a Pokemon fan. Even that, like I wasn't necessarily huge into anime, but for sure, I mean, the last time I watched an anime before this was probably mid elementary school.
Yeah, and you didn't even know it was anime, right?
No, I had no idea. No, I think I watched, like I said, Pokemon. I guess Yu-Gi-Oh would count, right? Uh, Digimon is Digimon an anime? Yes.
Yeah, Digimon is definitely anime. Yeah,
All
it's
right.
funny when like people say stuff that's not anime, but I think you got it down. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think Beyblade, if that counts.
yeah, it definitely counts.
All right,
Yeah,
but
like
again, like
if you
wasn't
say
huge.
Weekenders or Recess, then
No, obviously, no, wasn't huge. And I mean, looking at what you're doing, I think your brother has talked about this in terms of up until really recently, I viewed anime as something that was for kids, and I think that's because here in the West, we look at cartoons as either kid shows or like satires or sitcoms like The Simpsons. So we don't view cartoons as something that's necessarily serious. So it is a little different to get my mind around watching something that's like a serious thing. I mean, I don't know how serious necessarily Dragon Ball is for adults, but um, again, it's different to get my head around it. So I'm excited to venture into this new art form.
yeah, I think that's very cool. I'm glad you were upfront. Like Ray is like super. Um, what? How should I say it? Like you don't like video games necessarily. Not that you don't like it, but you don't play them. You know, you have a job. You watch sports. Very removed from like anime culture, and I think that'll be the most interesting part of this whole thing. And we will definitely turn you into an anime lover. We will pop that cherry and turn you into an anime lover.
We will see. Yeah, curious.
um, yeah. So we got even a question, and if you guys don't know, if you're listening on the podcast or YouTube channel later, we are filming this live on twitch.tv/rancafe, so you can follow there. We're doing it right now at 4 p.m. Eastern time every Wednesday, and we'll let you know if there are any changes to that. If Ray takes longer to get from work or whatever, something pops up from for his work, because he is a lay person. His occupation, unlike mine, is not based off of anime YouTube, so he does have a normal job, and we gotta respect that. And yeah, like we got a question that was about whether we're gonna be talking about the anime or the manga. And I picked the anime because I think it'll be more interesting for Ray to watch the anime than read the manga, because he doesn't read manga, and I don't really want to teach him how to read backwards, although I know he can figure it out. But like, they read from right to left rather
Yeah.
than from left to right, so that might kind of ruin the experience for you.
You
And
know,
also,
I
yeah,
think just really quick. I think I possibly read one manga in my life. I'm trying to think. Shaman King. Does that sound familiar?
yes, Shaman King is definitely
All right.
a, a manga I have fond memories of.
All right. So that was my only manga.
Although I actually watched the anime, I didn't read the manga. So yes, so that's cool. And the other thing is, I don't. I think there's a lot added with like the music and the animation, and as weird as it sounds, I kind of want to experience the fillers because usually the way I read stuff is or experience anime is through manga. So I kind of miss the fillers, but I want to become like super familiar with Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and so on because I think it's like one of the greatest, most popular anime of all time, and it inspired so many other great ones like Naruto, One Piece, Seven Deadly Sins. If you're a fan of that, like huge influence there. Inspired like every battle shonen pretty much, and as a result, I think just as a person who's into anime, as like an anime historian or whatever you want to call it, I think it's very important to just know Dragon Ball, and I think the anime is the best way to kind of experience the whole thing, and it gives us more content, so you guys can enjoy more episodes as well.
And I think for me, it's just more consumable because I don't know. I do a lot of reading, and adding something else to my plate may be a bit tough in my schedule. It's good to kind of kick back and watch an anime episode rather than read the manga right now.
Yeah, exactly, and me too. Like, um, I'm watching it on Funimation. Got the subscription. I don't know if you could watch it if there would be too many ads if you were watching it without a subscription. But I got a subscription and we're watching it in dub. So if you guys notice, like I know my brother Animac would like absolutely hate that, but he's not watching it at all, so he can't judge. But the point is, yeah, dub is definitely going to be easier for you, and it's also just like that's how we experienced it growing up. So I think it would be cool to experience it that way again. But if you guys know any different translations that you want to point out in the chat, you can do so.
There are different translations.
Well, between the sub and dub, there could be some differences,
Oh, okay.
right? They're not gonna necessarily translate it the exact same way. They gotta fit the lips sometimes, and then sometimes they might want to make it more Western. Like, just as an example to jump forward, when Oolong wishes for the pair of the most comfortable underwear, I feel like in the Japanese it would have just said panties
Hmm.
because he's a pervert, but they translated it as comfortable underwear in the English. But as Ray pointed out, they did not censor a lot of stuff, so we're watching the uncut versions, so you'll still get like most of it.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked in some instances that this was played for kids. Like, I guess it was released in when I looked it up, mid 80s, I believe. But yeah, there's some things in there. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I couldn't imagine this being aired on TV, at least in the West today, for kids.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like no, it's so funny, and I want to get into that too, where you got a situation where you you freaking have this different culture where all of a sudden compared to our cartoons, and you rarely like you get shy interactions with boys and girls, like oh maybe they kiss like in recess, but here you straight up also for kids have like old men asking to see Bulma's boobs and Bulma's panties, and like the idea of wanting to smell panties and all of that stuff is in a children's cartoon. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I noticed she's throughout the first arc is pretty sexualized, and I don't know if that's a common trope when you have just one particular woman within an anime and everyone's going after her, but it seems like wherever she goes, whether it be Yamcha or Master Roshi or whoever, people are super attracted to her.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And you're right, that is the situation right now. We Dragon Ball doesn't really become a place where you continue to get like or at least Dragon Ball Z, where you continue to get like super crazy fan service. There are definitely some other anime that foreground it much more. Dragon Ball is still about fighting, but yeah, you're right, and I think that's gonna be interesting seeing how Dragon Ball evolves without like even besides you being the Dragon Ball virgin, Ray the Virgin. Besides that, I think it's just gonna be interesting, even for us revisiting it, to look at the transformation because I've noticed that before too. Like it seems like a completely different show. Great, I absolutely love Dragon Ball, but like there's definitely much more of a similarity to like some gag manga, which is like the main character just like overpowers the enemies without necessarily needing to train and stuff. That's much more happening in this beginning arc, which for this episode we watched the Pilaf arc, which is pretty much episode 1 to 13. And then for those of you who want to watch the episodes for the next episode that we're going to be doing, it's going to be the next 15. And I think, Ray, you said that was a tournament arc?
Yeah, I read that. And what's interesting is I spoke to someone else just about what I was doing with this podcast, and he said he didn't spoil anything, but he said, "Oh yeah, the tournament arc, it's a lot better." I don't know if anyone thinks the same thing, but
I really liked this arc too, though.
yeah, the person said this arc's a bit slow, which I see where he's coming from at times, especially the first couple episodes, perhaps. But it gets better as it progresses.
I
Definitely.
don't know if I'm just like a stan, and by the way, like I need to tell you probably some terminology too, because again, you're a layperson. Um, Stan means like big fan. Eminem had that song Stan,
Hmm.
and it just means like being like a huge, almost blind fan of something. And I thought like so much happened in 13 episodes. You know what I mean? Like for me, it wasn't even slow, but tournament arcs, you know, like are huge. Like there's huge hype in anime around tournament arcs, and you're gonna get to experience why in the next episode, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Like
very
the
cool.
chat should be blowing up right now with tournament arc exclamation mark exclamation mark. Cause yeah, tournament arcs are cool, and this is gonna be like the OG tournament arc in Dragon Ball. Cause Dragon Ball is like I don't know, like I'm not great at like anime history, but it's one of the first like shonen of its kind, if not the first. Like there's definitely shonen before it, which is shonen when I say that it's anime geared primarily towards young men, so everyone can enjoy it, but like let's say primarily from like 12 years old to like 20 years old, something like that. And I feel like this kind of like training, becoming better, facing stronger opponents, like Dragon Ball is definitely the OG, if not the original for pulling that off.
Hmm. Maybe before we get into, I don't know if you want to get into like a summary of the arc before getting into like points that we thought were interesting, but I don't know if you would know this. I remember Dragon Ball Z was big in the West. Was Dragon Ball big for kids in the West?
See, um, I don't think so. Like, and I'm going off of my own personal experience. And people can let us know in the chat how they felt about Dragon Ball, like if it was a big part of their childhood. But definitely, if I remember correctly, I feel like they even started in the West with Dragon Ball Z and then went back to Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Dragon Ball Z was huge. Like, I had a bunch of toys. I'd get if I had a video game, I'd be super excited. Like even GT even GT, like I got excited about. I Kamehameha with my friends, like play, and I'd even like pretend Serbian candy was sensu beans and like jump around the bed and then eat the sensu bean and then like act like I was restored. Like I'd get super into it, man.
Hmm.
Embarrassingly into it.
Yeah. So yeah, it kind of proves my theory that yeah, I hadn't really heard. I definitely heard of Dragon Ball Z before Dragon Ball, for sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
so we do have in the chat people saying that Dragon Ball Z came for them too before Dragon Ball. Maybe not everyone, but a lot of people do actually prefer Dragon Ball. I don't know if they just want to be contrarians, but I do think Dragon Ball is going to be good.
For sure. So, do we want to get into like an overall summary of what happened in the first arc?
Yeah, we can for sure.
Okay, cool. You want to start that?
Sure, I can start it. So in the beginning, we pretty much start off with Goku and Bulma's relationship, and like they just meet, and Goku's not used to seeing women, obviously. Well, not obviously, but he isn't. He's like a creature of the wild, and like he sees Bulma, and then all of a sudden he's never seen a woman before, so he's reacting to her being a woman and all the technology she brings, and that's a lot of the source of humor for those early parts, including her peeing her pants, which was hilarious. And I really enjoy the talking animals we get all the time. And we do eventually, Ray, I don't know how much you want to get into everything, but we do eventually meet Oolong the pig. We do eventually meet Yamcha, and we do eventually have that fight against our guys, Emperor Pilaf, and then the Dragon Balls being gathered, summoned, and then even Shenron showing up, and we get Ape Goku, which is like what I'm talking about. We even got a Kamehameha. How could I miss Master Roshi? So, like, oh my god, so much happened in 13 episodes. It's insane to think about. Like, I feel like if things keep up at this pace, we'll be lucky. I feel like we'll get more fillers as we move on.
Yeah, and I think if I'm not mistaken, the first episode they provide the history of the Dragon Balls, and you really get a clear sense at the beginning of the journey they will probably take in terms of collecting them and trying to get a wish. Am I right? You get that clear map at the beginning.
Yeah, so the goal of the story is very much inspired by Journey to the West, which is like a a Chinese novel, kind of like one of the oldest. And in that they also have like a monkey boy kind of like Goku. But yeah, this is positioned as a journey, this arc, but then we're going to get into it's going to start seeming more and more like the Dragon Ball Z we know, where you're going to get more focus on fighting, on training, on becoming stronger, kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I definitely saw. This is from my knowledge in literature and kind of myth that hero's journey in a way. Bulma comes in, interrupts Goku's kind of naive life, living in that forest area he lived in and mountain area, and they go on this quest. And at the end, what's interesting is obviously Bulma has this wish to get something. Yamcha joins the journey, has this wish, and at the end, they find out that they had everything they ever wanted, as cliche as that sounds, right in front of them.
I'm
They
glad you
didn't need a
noticed
wish,
that. Yeah.
and they had that power within them to look at each other and get over their shyness. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I definitely noticed that. Bulma definitely didn't lack shyness.
not her. Yeah,
But
Yamcha
the
definitely does.
oh my god, that was so funny. I noticed it was like a Wizard of Oz kind of thing where it's like
Yeah,
you had what you wanted, what you needed all along. And
yeah,
Yamcha was like, I want to wish so I could talk to girls. I just want that so bad. Because he's like this great fighter and he can't even talk to a girl. And then just by being with Bulma enough, he overcomes that and then they get together and even though the wish went to like get a pair of panties, which is pretty funny. Um he they end up getting what they wanted, which is pretty cool.
yeah. And I think there were so along the arc. I don't know if you mentioned this. Yeah, we meet Master Roshi, learn about Goku's history, how his grandfather adopted him, trained under Master Yoshi, and then you see that connection there with Goku and Master Yoshi, and the Ox King as well was someone who trained under Master Yoshi.
So it's Master Roshi
Roshi,
with an
sorry,
R.
what did I say?
So
Yoshi, isn't that a
yeah, you're
Super
saying
Mario
you're saying
character?
a Mario character, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But this is good. This adds authenticity to the whole version thing.
Yeah, Roshi. Sorry, I even knew that too. I know I said Yoshi. Anyways, yeah. So, yeah, you see that history with Goku, and I think I don't know if you want to talk about some of the enemies
Yeah,
they
man.
encounter along the
We
way.
can
There were some I
literally
found were downright,
talk about everything.
yeah, there were some I found downright kind of embarrassing, like
Okay,
that
interesting.
monster carrot
Oh
or rabbit.
yeah, the
Oh,
rabbit.
come on,
Yes.
that's a little ridiculous.
and and that'll be interesting to see you react to because there are those like it's very interesting with anime and you'll get this with Dragon Ball and I think like even more with One Piece where they're very good at like walking the line between like ridiculous and like trying to be overly comedic, but they could pull off serious at the same time. And yeah, I feel like that bunny villain is more so that comedic side and like reveling in the ridiculousness and in the gag quality of that. But I also think you know, we'll probably get less of that as we move on, but also enjoy it because it's there to be ridiculous. It's there to be funny, and we'll also get the serious parts, which will make a good contrast. But yeah, that was an interesting twist because Goku could beat him so easily, but they added that twist that he could turn people into carrots, and then all of a sudden, I mean that to me was so funny because they acted so serious and like they were the badass gang of the city. Like, you know, they were the mafia. They were like these guys that were you don't mess with, and they were called the rabbits. You know, and they had like rabbit ears on them, which was just, in my opinion, hilarious because they're trying to be badass, but they look hilarious.
And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he is the only enemy of Goku's who Goku eventually like kind of surrenders in a way, right? The other ones he actually puts up a fight, but as soon as he turns Bulma into the
Yeah, that
carrot,
was interesting. Yeah, yeah,
he
because yeah,
he's like, I can't do anything. I give up, right?
yeah, yeah. So that was interesting because you see that Goku, despite at the beginning being like, you know, whatever with Bulma, like thinking she's a monster, and then like her shooting Goku, by the way, right? Like she straight up shot him, and he was just like, got up afterwards like it was nothing, and just said it hurt. Like keep that in mind as we move forward, because that kind of stuff will be pretty relevant later on. But yeah, like you know, they developed a relationship where he's also following Gohan's advice, Grandpa Gohan, where he told him, "Hey, treat women kindly and with respect." So, in his own way, he's doing that, and yeah, he wants to save Bulma. He's not willing to like trade her. He's pure-hearted, right? So that was interesting that he would rather lose or even get beaten up or give up, perhaps even turn into a carrot, in the hopes of possibly saving Bulma.
Mhm. I don't know if you would know this answer or someone else, but what time period are we talking here? Because we have, like you said, technology, like the TV.
Great question.
We have dinosaurs. I'm pretty sure there's a pterodactyl at one
Yeah.
point.
No, they're dinosaurs.
What is
Yeah,
going
look.
on? There's like historical periods clashing with each other.
No, and I feel like yeah, you gotta like keep in mind the fun that's going on because I mean, more than anything, I feel like Dragon Ball is supposed to be fun, like a fun adventure, and you really see the creator having fun with it because he's adding in, yeah, you're right, sci-fi, magic, dinosaurs, high tech, like you're seeing all of that and it's all meshing together at the same time, right? You have the contrast between Goku being like, a country boy to the extreme, never seen anything. You have Bulma, the city girl, that coming together, seeing how they react. So, yeah, you'll definitely see a lot of that. And I think that's fun because it's not limited by anything, right? It's just like a guy having fun with his ideas.
Hmm. Yeah, that was something that kind of threw me off. That clash in time periods, very confusing at the beginning, but I guess I kind of accepted it. I presume there's no like noted date for this, right? It's just out in
No,
the
I don't think
yeah.
so. And that's interesting that you'd say that because yeah, I don't even think about it, and that might be just me trained to accept things in anime. Like there's suspended disbelief to me where I look at what's happening in anime and I'm like, okay, this is the world. This is how it works. But yeah, interesting. You, as an anime virgin, come into it and you're like actually confused about why there are different things and why that's happening.
Yeah. And do animals usually talk in
See,
other?
that was interesting. Like, I feel like in Dragon Ball Z, they don't foreground it as much. Obviously, you have Oolong, you have some that do, obviously, but I definitely think that it's more common with like enemies and stuff in Dragon Ball.
Hmm. While you brought him up, could we stay on the topic of Oolong?
Yeah,
Because
100%.
he annoyed me. He
He annoyed you.
yes,
Oh
just
man,
the thing that annoyed me
the
about him.
goat, Oolong
Why?
the goat. Why did he
Why?
annoy you?
Well, number one, he appears at first when they encounter him. He appears as well, before you get to know he can only transform for 5 minutes as possibly the most problematic or powerful, enemy. And then as soon as he joins them for their journey, he just doesn't come in handy anymore. Like I'm thinking when they're in that trapped inside the emperor's castle there, and I'm like, why can't he just transform into like again like this huge ape creature to break the glass or like there's so many times he just cowers away. He's like when the rabbit comes, can't he like turn into that giant beast anymore and
Yeah,
scare? I don't know.
yeah. So the thing with there, which it seemed to me, is that he can transform physically, but it doesn't actually lend any power to him. So him punching something in his normal form will be the same as turning into a giant like bull and hitting something. It's the same force.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to think. Wasn't he destroying stuff in when he was um, terrorizing that little town? Or am I wrong?
Perhaps. But yeah, like I get the sense that he doesn't change his strength; he just changes his form, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's a coward, which is pretty hilarious. Like I like the way they did that with like him like trying to be this like bad guy who's like stealing daughters, and then all of a sudden he's this scaredy cat who's literally like a slave to all the girls he's
Yeah.
quote unquote kidnapped.
Yeah, they're pushing him around.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So, anyways, he kind of annoyed me in the sense that I found he got to be pretty useless, though at times. I mean, he does end up, I guess, saving the world, right? When he
yeah,
messes up
yeah,
and
man. Yeah, he comes to the rescue.
though, why did I'm wondering why did the dragon? So when you summon the dragon, is it's recognizing who summoned because he recognized it was the emperor, Emperor Pilaf, and then all of a sudden he said the first 3/4 of his wish, and then Ulov jumps up and says the last part. Like, is there not continuity there, or is it just whoever says whatever the wish is?
Yeah, yeah.
That's,
So clearly this implies that you could just like kind of go into someone's mid sentence and say the wish, kind of thing.
that's interesting.
And so the you don't need, the way these are written, these manga, is the writers, the mangaka work on them every week usually and publish every week. So they don't necessarily know the ending of the story, right? Or if they do, they don't know a lot of the parts they're gonna fill in. And as a result, you do have them creating stuff as they go on a pretty strict deadline. So you may find stuff later which like doesn't perfectly match up with some stuff earlier just because it's not like this novel that was like handcrafted and edited for like 6 years before it was published. They have to stick to that deadline.
Hmm.
So yeah,
All right.
that's how most anime, because not all of them were manga before, but that's how most anime the manga they're based on were created. Just like dudes hustling, working really hard, like insane hours, and trying to finish a chapter a week. So because it's a very competitive market, and yeah, you really gotta be like up there to survive in it. So no one gets really lazy unless like you can afford to, and even then you don't really see people getting really lazy because like I don't know how much the Pokemon guy still does. Like I know he's like I think the richest, but One Piece. Like Eiichiro Oda could totally retire at any moment. Like he has enough money, but he just loves working on the manga so much that he just keeps going with the story.
Hmm.
But Dragon Ball, um, Toriyama did actually end it, but then we got Dragon Ball Super brought back, which is not him writing it; it's someone else. But he is. They refer to him to see if like what he thinks of the ideas and stuff like that.
Okay. Maybe I have a question for you now. I've talked a lot about my impressions.
Yeah,
Who do you?
one sec. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, just want to say thank you to everybody donating. So we got Langert 2, Metal Mama, That Kid, and we just got Jake Man 951. Thank you all. All right, go Ray.
I was just gonna ask, who do you think the most powerful enemy was?
The most powerful enemy. I didn't even think about that, but that's an interesting question. I feel like the Ox King.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, because that didn't really resolve in a victory, right? They're just like, oh, we both have connection to Master Roshi and Grandpa Gohan. Oh, cool. Let's stop fighting. But to me, it didn't seem like Goku was easily winning that one. Like he heard him and like nothing happened, and this is where I think you'll see more switching. I feel like you'll get to the point where when he has someone he doesn't beat, he'll probably eventually want to beat them. But in that case, like he was just happy. He was like, "Oh, we don't need to fight. It's all good," you know.
Yeah, especially when you find out his history, how he has that connection with Master. Let me get this right, Roshi, and Goku at the end of the arc decides he wants to train with Master Roshi to get more powerful. So you got to think this guy definitely has trained with him for many years, and he has a step up on Goku. So yeah, that wouldn't have probably ended that well.
Yeah, well, you think, but recall Goku's talent. So, do you remember how Master Roshi said the Kamehameha would take him 50 years to learn, and Goku did it like the next second?
Yeah, true.
So you can't really compare. That's the other thing with anime. Like you're gonna see a lot of people progress quicker than others. Um, and that's just how it's gonna work. It's not gonna be like, oh, he practiced 10 years, he practiced 2 years. Like if this dude is the main character, he might develop quicker than the guy who practiced his whole life.
Hmm.
But yeah, there are reasons that Goku is special too.
Yeah. So if Goku was a powerful guy, we agree upon that. How would you rank Yamcha?
Yeah, that's so hilarious because like I don't know if you know like just the way people view Yamcha, but he comes as like a significant opponent kind of in the beginning. Although Goku was hungry, right? So I still think Goku is like more skilled than him, especially after the Kamehameha. But yeah, like that Wolfang fist of his sort of becomes like a joke compared to Kamehameha because look at like I played video games, right? Dragon Ball, Budokai, like I played those games and I really liked them. Budokai 3 probably being my favorite. But in those games, instead of Kamehameha, Yamcha has Wolfang Fist, and it's just so bad by comparison
Yeah.
that like it seems kind of cool, but then the Kamehameha comes along, which you saw, and it's like, how can that compete? You know what I mean? The Wolfang Fist. But it was cool when it initially came out.
Hmm. Well, he gets into, I think, a pretty prolonged battle with Goku. Am I not right? Like, it's one of the most epic fights in the
No,
arc.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, Yamcha definitely was one of the most interesting prolonged battles, and you compare it with Oolong, it's not even comparable, right? Yamcha is straight up a martial artist who's also training, and he's jealous when Master Roshi wants to Goku to train with him, right? But so he's into it. He's training. It's just that Goku is Goku, and he picks up on the Kamehameha quick, and Yamcha's left with the Wolfang Fist.
Yeah. Yeah, it's impressive to even see Master Roshi when he tackles that burning castle mountain, whatever you want to call it. He just
Yeah, that's
really
so funny.
creepily just his clothes rip off. He's jacked, and I'm just wondering what the heck's going on here.
Oh
But
man, yeah, yeah. The comedy is so on point. I feel like in early Dragon Ball, like one thing that came to mind with Master Roshi, like he's just hilarious. And one thing came to mind when Chi Chi, you know Chi Chi?
yeah, the
Do you
young
remember
girl
her?
who is the Ox King's daughter.
The young girl, yeah. Do you know her significance?
I can infer that she ends up with Goku just based on their interactions in the first arc.
Okay. So when she threw Master Roshi, like her helmet thing, and she's like, if he's a master, he'll be able to dodge this.
Yes, yes,
And then she throws it at him, and it just hits him right in the head. That was so hilarious. Like he tried to look cool and everything, but it just hit him right there. Like, and he's like, even I couldn't dodge that because she wanted to prove he was Master Roshi. And
yeah,
it's like, yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that in anime that masters aren't portrayed as these like cool, untouchable guys who don't make mistakes, like James Bond kind of thing. They're often like flawed characters and they make them more relatable, realistic. And yeah, you'll get that pervy old sensei trope in anime a lot. And yeah, you get that with Master Roshi. You also get him like messing around, but you also get that buff form, which I think is pretty amazing.
yeah. The turtle tries to keep him accountable at times, but he just doesn't listen. He
Yeah.
wants to go on a date with Bulma. Um, yeah, it's so funny when they go on that supposed date and it's actually oolong, and just the expression of Master Yoshi's face with the what is that? Is that snot coming out of his nose? There's like
The
almost like
red?
I'm trying to think. There's like it almost looks like a piece of chalk coming out of his nose, and like all you hear is him just like kind of moaning in excitement, and it zooms out. Like
Yeah, just reactions of like overjoyed, overjoyed man. Yeah, like you might get saliva out of the mouth, you might get like sure, you'll definitely get snot in anime. You'll get characters picking their nose and still being cool, like Luffy and Goku. Like, yeah, you'll get some interesting stuff for sure. But yeah, like you'll definitely they over exaggerate. You'll notice like, in a Hollywood movie, you'll see like maybe a person's they look away or something when they're like attracted to someone. Here you'll see like eyes popping out with hearts and stuff like that. Like anime is a medium where they like to over exaggerate and that makes it more fun as well.
yeah, I guess you get that creative freedom compared to like a movie played by real actors and actresses, which
Yeah.
can add to that.
Yeah, and I think like it's really cool in the sense that I think we're only starting to realize how much animation can do compared to real movies when we look at Lion King, the cartoon, Lion King, the live action movie, Mulan, the cartoon, Mulan, the live action movie. Like, if you look at those cartoons, like the style, like they just capture something that you can't in live action. Like I watched Lion King live action, it was nowhere close to as fun and like the crazy as the original was.
Yeah, I haven't. I didn't watch it, but I didn't hear necessarily great things about it, especially compared to the original.
Man,
Like,
I just thought of something. We should watch at some point Dragon Ball Evolution, which is considered to be like the worst, like I think by many, the worst adaptation ever. And it's like based off of Dragon Ball, and we'll see how they try to make the transition from anime to live action. And that'll more so be just for fun and to like make fun of it than to be like, this is greatness. But yeah, I think that could be pretty fun.
Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
I
Is it like a
people
movie?
are hating it so much. They're like, don't put yourselves through that. Like, don't bring up Dragon Ball Evolution. We'll see. We'll see. I think it could be fun, but after we're more versed in Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Was there a Dragon Ball movie at
Dude,
some
there's
point?
so many Dragon Ball movies. Yeah, like Broly is a movie character. If you don't know anything about him, like I won't say anymore, but yeah, like you have a lot of actually iconic characters that come from movies. So I'm definitely open to checking out movies along the way.
And how would that kind of slot in? Maybe I shouldn't be asking this right now. I'm just wondering how
No, it's cool.
does that slot in chronologically, or it's just like an outlier kind of thing?
We'll see. I'm thinking like maybe after like we finish Dragon Ball, we watch the Dragon Ball movies, or after we finish Dragon Ball Z, we watch the Dragon Ball Z movies. But we'll see. Like if we feel like we want a break and like we can't watch like 20 episodes some week, we can just do a movie.
All right,
And
sounds
yeah,
good.
we will watch the movies chronologically, so we'll start with the first one and move on.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so we have a lot of options to work with. What did you think of Pilaf's gang?
They were pretty, I mean, for the most part, non-threatening. I thought like here you have this talking dog, again, Shu, I guess, and was it Mai?
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, there is that earlier episode where they get scared and I think they think the Dragon Ball is somewhere and it turns out to be like these dogs or coyotes or something and they get chased and I don't know, they right off the bat they appear as, people who aren't really capable of doing much. I mean, at the end obviously you get a couple episodes there where they probably caused the most trouble and put the gang in the worst situation in terms of burning to death.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, Goku turns into that giant ape at the end and breaks them out of it. But I was never that threatened by them, especially like when they're in the castle and he's trying to torture Bulma.
Yeah.
What was he doing? Like, did he kiss? Did he just throw a kiss at her?
Yeah, he's like he thinks he'll freak her out by like sending her a kiss, right? Like and and he like sends her a kiss, doesn't even kiss her, and Bulma is like, she's an extrovert. She's like, she thought he'd do something way worse, and then people are almost like, Bulma, stop egging him on. But yeah, Pilaf doesn't have a good sense of torture, especially in Bulma's case.
Well, and I'm guessing at first I thought the two henchmen were like, "Oh no, please don't do this," as in like they thought it was a bad form of torture, but they must be doing that because they're just so embarrassed with his decision to just blow a kiss, right? That's why they don't want him to do that.
Yeah, like with you get a lot of situations like that where I do think like for now just we'll see how the next arc is, but yeah, we got to view it as like primarily comedy because you're right, they're not like crazy threats. Like he wasn't even trying to destroy the world or something. He was trying to quote unquote rule the world, whatever that would look like, right? So yeah, these guys weren't big threats, but as we move on, like I feel like we'll get stronger opponents, which seems to be kind of something you're interested in.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure every opponent besides Pilaf last one episode, so it's not like this prolonged battle, multiple
Yeah. So
episodes.
the main stuff lasts like only a couple episodes, but like it's kind of in there, like they're kind of following along, trying to catch the Dragon Balls on their own throughout the arc. But yeah, you're right. When it all is said and done, like that, it was only like one or two episodes that they actually fought.
Hmm.
What did you think of the ape transformation?
Um, I'll be honest. I remember in the few episodes I watched of Dragon Ball Z, there was an ape at some point. So I never really put two and two together in terms of, oh, he has this tail. Maybe he could transform into this ape. But uh, it was interesting because right when he looks at the moon, he's like, fine. And then about 30 seconds later, he's transforming and creeping the people out. But yeah, it's kind of shocking to find out that it looks, all signs point to he killed his own grandfather.
Yeah, yeah. How did you feel about that?
Uh, I felt kind of bad for him because
I know.
he was a young kid who, like, he basically associates that Dragon Ball with his grandfather. He's like,
Hmm.
they stole my grandpa, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then he's just so, honored to be the grandson. And then all of a sudden you find out that he's the reason he's no longer there. So it's pretty sad to find out. But I presume because they cut off his tail that that won't be an issue anymore.
Yeah. So we'll see. He did mention it growing back, but yeah, we'll see what happens. And yeah, that's the thing. Like he's definitely comes off as this naive guy in a sense who's like pure-hearted and doesn't like ever think of, it's very straightforward, blunt, but yeah, he has this insane power as well, and that's being foregrounded um, with the monkey transformation, with his quick learning, and with everything else.
Yeah, the naivete is pretty funny. Like at times,
Oh, yeah, I think it's hilarious, like how he pats like every girl.
well, that for sure. Yeah, his naivety on like women and really technology or anything that quote unquote normal people are aware of. But even like they're I'm trying to think when they unleash the dogs when they're in the castle,
Yeah.
and he's just hungry. He's like, "I'm hungry." He doesn't realize that these dogs are gonna absolutely destroy them. And he's just, "I'm hungry," and they're trying to snap at. I think Yamcha eventually like basically throws him at the dogs to wake him up, and
Yeah,
then
and he's like, they're like, you can eat the dogs kind of thing.
yeah,
That was another thing. Like, so we're talking about stuff you'd see in Western cartoons or you would see in anime that you wouldn't see in Western cartoons. Definitely the way he figures out whether people are girls or guys is something you wouldn't see necessarily in Western cartoons. Um, Another thing is just like with the nosebleeds and stuff like that. You're getting it. It's very interesting to see like what's acceptable there and what's not.
yeah, and Bulma's very contrasting facial expressions. One moment she'll be like super calm, and the next, like, her face will turn and become super animated and really aggressive. So, yeah, those exaggerations definitely show the many sides of Bulma.
Yeah. And like even the fact that you're talking about the dogs, like when they just like straight up beat up the dogs, like there's like 5 minutes of them just beating up a bunch of
Yeah,
dogs, which to be
it, that,
fair,
would, that
will
wouldn't fly in today's.
yeah, they're
Yeah,
trying to obviously you know they're gonna be attacked, but like yeah, you wouldn't see a cartoon just like emphasizing like beating up dogs for 5 minutes,
yeah.
and but Pokemon is literally all about just fighting with animals, so clearly, if you spin it in the right way, it can work in the West, I guess.
I'm wondering, do you think there have been any like vegan groups that have been like protested Pokemon in the past?
100%. Yeah, I think so. I think like PETA had a whole thing against them. Like, again, I think it's ridiculous. It's like fantasy, and it's like they want to like in this hypothetical world, the Pokemon like choose to fight and stuff like that. But but yeah, like it's just a cartoon, and then it's in no way saying like, guys, we promote this in the real world because there are no Pokemon in the real world. And the same with Dragon Ball Z, like it's not promoting you beating up people and shooting lasers at them.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like, do you feel, because especially this came out in the '80s and Dragon Ball Z was big in the '90s? Do you feel that there were any groups out, especially in the '90s, where people looked at video games as like something that could corrupt the youth? I wonder if anyone thought the same thing as, oh my goodness, like Dragon Ball could teach kids to like fight at school and to get excited about not beating each other up, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure there is some of that. Like, you do kind of want to try it, you know what I mean? Like again, I don't think that makes sense trying to ban it or anything, but like, at least play fight, throwing kamehamehas at your friends and stuff like that. Definitely makes you want to do it.
Yeah.
Anything
Can you?
else that stood out for you in this first arc of Dragon Ball?
I'm just going through. Let me look. I'm going through my character list. Thought it was quite funny how Poir, I think the cat's name is, and
Yeah.
Oolong, they went to like this transforming school together. Again, like just complicates where this place is at in society, where there's like transforming school to go to. Like,
Yeah, and again, like just embrace it, man. Embrace the
embrace
craziness
the strangeness.
and suspend disbelief because like in the world that Dragon Ball is creating for you, like you gotta go by their rules. You know, you can't bring your own rules. And yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff like that too.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you perceive Yamcha as a threat at any point when he was following them?
The thing is, cause again, I'm well versed in like Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. Like I didn't, but like maybe I would have if I didn't know anything. But I don't even think so because you know that he's shy around girls, and you
Yeah.
had those whole hilarious scenes where where Oolong pretended to be Bulma and like left, and then he thought that Bulma was gone, and then he opens the like he moves the blanket to see who's there, and it's Bulma naked.
Yeah.
And he just freaks out. Like that kind of humor I love. Like I think was hilarious. And also it's like how can you consider a guy who can't talk to girls a threat? You know, worst case scenario, Goku can throw Bulma at him, you know?
For sure. I think it's funny too when Oolong, I think when they first kind of capture him and bring him on, and he tries to transform into Bulma, and like he's basically the same uh, height and like more plump, like the same pig shape, but like kind of looks like her, and she's so like insulted by the way he transforms. And
Yeah, at first I'm like, can he transform into her? Because like, yeah, it's so bad at first, and then he actually pulls it off. And
yeah,
then, how did you like when instead of just going for a walk with Roshi, he straight up he straight up showed him Bulma's boobs as himself.
so that's something again. Like when I look back at the appropriateness of this, I think like my goodness, like if this was shown in the West today, like that would be crazy. Like, so I was more just shocked that that was shown, and even like people, not necessarily in explicit way, but like exposing themselves, like Goku walking around naked at times. Like I'm
Hmm.
like, wow, like that's pretty open. Like they're not really holding anything back. So that definitely, those instances definitely shocked me there. How you get these moments where they're way more open than some of the cartoons we have in the West.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And with guys like Master Roshi, you know, there's like a more understanding thing. It seems like in anime where it's like, yeah, dudes really like girls. And then there are some characters who you'll see in different anime, like Goku and like Luffy in One Piece, who just seem like they don't even notice or focus on girls at all. Like they're just like quote unquote that pure hearted, like only thinking about improving their fighting skills and stuff like that. But like yeah, you'll in every anime almost that I've seen, you see characters who are straight up like getting nosebleeds from women and like really into women. And anime doesn't hide that at all.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll be interested to see once there's more fighting whether that continues. But I'm curious, maybe taking more broadly. I mean, you mentioned this before. How would you position or slot Dragon Ball in the anime canon?
What does that mean? What's
So,
that mean? Question mean?
so, so I'm thinking in terms of like comparing it to how there's like kind of like this canon in literature, how there's these great works people go to or great movies. If you're talking about movies,
Mm-hmm.
where do people position Dragon Ball within, the context of anime? Is it like one of those prominent shows? Is it something that isn't necessarily the most quote unquote serious show? How would
Yeah,
people?
like I don't think with anime in general, I don't, especially shonen, like the seriousness is not the point necessarily. There are serious anime like um, Death Note is more serious, but still not necessarily on the level of something like Monster, which you didn't watch obviously, but it's like about a doctor who saves a serial killer, and now he's like dealing with existential questions like what's life about, and did he do the right thing, and does he have to now stop the monster he created by saving him? Like, so that, for example, has no superpowers or anything. But in regards to shonen, which is the most popular demographic for anime and manga, period. So, like, the most viewed, Dragon Ball holds an irreplaceable spot on that list. And that's why I think it's so cool that we're doing this, that I'm experiencing it too, and like refreshing myself for everything, and that you're experiencing it as well, because yeah, it's a go-to must watch in my opinion for any shonen fan, and it's inspired so many after it, and that are like in a similar style, like Naruto, like One Piece, as I mentioned. So yeah, in regards to the canon, it's like one of the most popular, most seminal works within um, within the most popular demographic of anime.
Well, good to know I'm devoting myself to that. Um, Maybe a quick question as well. I don't know if you even should reveal this, but something that crossed my mind was where, how should I put this? What role does, say, government or like the law, like law enforcement play in this? Because here you have these like evil dudes, Emperor, Pilaf. You have these kind of characters fighting for, I guess like justice in terms of they don't want him to rule the world. Like, do, does law and order in terms of like police, does that show up at any point, or is it just kind of pushed to the sidelines?
Um, yeah, I mean you'll see, but I don't think it's a big spoiler. So yeah, I'll mention it. Like it's not like in some anime where people who are listening might know of One Piece and how like the law enforcement is actually like a pretty big deal and has people with superpowers on their side as well. And with Dragon Ball, yeah, like police and stuff are pretty much a joke. Like, how are they going to compete with Kamehamehas and stuff like that, right? So they're very peripheral and like not going to get involved in the big fights that you'll see.
All right, cool.
Yeah, as you saw, like what could the police do to a kid who doesn't get hurt by gunshots?
Yeah, very true. I mean, that is if he is a kid. I
What do you
am
mean?
still no, I can still like I understand certain characters are more powerful than others, but they don't reveal. I mean, I think I heard it through the grapevine how he is a Saiyan, but I don't think that's even mentioned within the first arc. But it is interesting. Like, are these how human are these characters? Are they kind of you
Hmm.
know what ranking do they have in terms of their being? I don't know what the right word is. Ultra humans. I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's interesting how obviously not a normal human being can summon a flying cloud or perform a kamehameha. So
Yeah.
interesting
So
to learn more about that.
yeah, that will be interesting, and definitely like you can see everyone getting stronger, and Goku definitely is is right now accelerating at like a really quick rate. Like just think about 50 years and he does it in the same day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So definitely. And yeah, what do you know thus far about Saiyans?
I'm presuming they came from another planet. I don't know. That's about it. They're not from Earth. If
Okay.
this is
Yeah.
even taking
So
place
yeah.
on Earth.
So we had some of those comments. We had some of that in the comment section, talk about how he's an alien. And yeah, like pretty much that is the case. Um but yeah, you'll see. There's a lot more to it that we're yet to, talk about. There's going to be plenty, but I'm pretty sure that the creator Toriyama didn't even know he would be a Saiyan at this point. Like he was just going off of that Journey to the West, inspired by that, having fun with it, like a monkey boy kind of thing. And then with Dragon Ball Z, we'll actually get more of that what you already know. So it's debatable whether like he even knew he'd be an alien at this point.
That is actually interesting now that you called him like this monkey board, because on the one hand, he's this kind of, you know, figure who is almost beyond human in his strength. And at the other point, he's very primal in terms of when he turns into this kind of giant ape that can't control his, his rationality. So yeah, it is interesting how he's like one side of the coin and another. Like he's this animal, yet at the same time, he's this superhuman who has super strength beyond normal humans.
Yeah,
So
definitely. All right. So, is there anything else you wanted to mention before we send the good people off?
I don't think so. I'm excited because I've heard good things about this tournament for the next arc. So
Yeah,
really
and
just
I'm excited too. Tournament arc. Let's get excited in the chat. And yeah, I just want to explain everything once again because some people have been asking it in the in the chat throughout. So we are going to put this on Spotify and all the podcast places that you listen to podcasts. We are gonna planning on putting it on YouTube. And again, if you're listening on a podcast or if you're listening on YouTube, we do this live on at twitch.tv/randcafe 4 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesdays. So and we'll let you know if anything changes. But thank you all so much for being part of this first historic moment. Like we had a bunch of people throughout, which is amazing. And yeah, get hyped for the tournament. And until next time, see ya, space fanboys.